Yirmiyahu was a prophet,
Please be seated.
was a good chaver of mine. Never understood a single word he said, but we helped him drink his yayin. And we always had some mighty fine yayin, singing Simchat Le'olam. Kol hayeladim now. Simcha to the dagim in the deep blue sea. Simcha to you and me. Yeah.
Welcome to the first.
Sorry.
I knew this was going to happen.
I'm getting
Welcome to the first
set. And probably last.
episode of Haftarah Plethora Live. Rick and I have done our part to bring a little joy to the world by talking about the prophets and the weekly Haftarah 99 times over the past 3 years on our Zoomcasts. I'm Larry Herman, normally drinking some very fine yayin, but today some very fine beer, as I do in each episode, and talking Haftarah with my very good chaver, the king of cannellation, Rick Muller. How are you doing today, Rick?
I'm very proud. So I need to say something about the day. So I found in the Siddur, page 311. You don't have to look for it now. But page 311, it talks about Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. It says, it starts, I'm not going to read the whole thing. To be given a Torah to hold is to be given a license to dance. Okay? But at this time of year, because of the Torah, we open to the last parasha. We feel the sadness of the Israelites as they watched Moses ascend the mountain, this time never to return. Yet we put aside our sadness and begin again. So that's what we're doing here. So yes, this is episode 100. How cool is that?
Very cool, Rick. You and I have covered all 85 separate Haftorot in the Ashkenazi and Sephardi traditions, a few of them twice.
That's an amazing accomplishment. I had no idea that we've done so many. I can't believe you've written almost 100 scripts.
Rick, your trope drashes must number in the thousands, every one of them enhancing our understanding of the words of the prophet.
Thanks. And also thanks to Diane and your son Reuven for adapting the Three Dog Night song, Joy to the World, for our introductory theme.
And let's not forget the contributions of our good friend Norm Gar, our technical guru, who has enriched our recordings with his creative introductory and concluding graphics, on-screen text, and great music, usually jazz.
And his frog jokes. And for reminding me to keep my head up, literally, and for exhorting us to get better.
And speaking of exhortations, that's the theme of the Haftarah for Simchat Torah.
I thought it was Chazak ve'ematz.
Yes, Chazak ve'ematz is the theme for Haftarah and also should be our theme, our watchword, as we see what's going on in Israel. But it's an exhortation. It's one that appears 4 times in the first chapter of Joshua, the Haftarah for Simchat Torah.
True, and I have a trope drash for each of them.
Great. But first, a brief overview. The Haftarah is neatly divided into 2 parts. The first 9 verses, we have God speaking to Joshua, giving him his assignment and responsibilities, and thrice encouraging him with the words, Chazak ve'ematz. The second half of the chapter is Joshua speaking to the officials of the people, and then to the leaders of the tribes of Reuven, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, reminding them of their pledge to fight in the vanguard to conquer the land. The stories end with those same leaders confirming their unswerving loyalty and finally using the same words as Moses and God, exhorting Joshua, Chazak ve'ematz.
So the phrase Chazak ve'ematz is used 6 times in the Tanakh, twice in the Torah in Parshat Vayelech, and then 4 times that we find it here in our Haftorah. In the first occasion in the Torah, Moses exhorts Joshua in front of all of Israel, Chazak ve'ematz. In the second occasion in the same chapter, God charges Joshua with the very same words, using the same trope, a munach followed by a sigol, Chazak ve'ematz. Our regular viewers know that my main idea is that the rabbis of our tradition place the rare trope on words and phrases that have special importance. The sigol is one of the rarest trope, suggesting the importance of that phrase, chazak ve'ematz. Then in the first occasion in Haftarah, page 1267, in verse 6, God is again speaking directly to Joshua and encourages him with chazak ve'ematz.
Pretty pedestrian trope here, only a tipcha and etnachta.
True, but then in the next verse, God repeats the phrase with more intense trope for emphasis. Rak chazak ve'ematz me'od. Notice that not only does God add the words rak and me'od, only and very, but the tropes on chazak ve'ematz are your favorites, Larry, the dramatic kadma v'azla. And in verse 9, where God concludes his charge to Joshua, he tells him, Halo tziviticha chazak ve'ematz.
Have I not charged you, be strong and stalwart, to use Robert Alter's translation. And I note that the trope on chazak ve'ematz are a munach followed by a zakef katon, which you theorized signals a particularly important phrase.
Thanks for remembering that, but this time it's following a mapach pashta, which isn't exactly part of my theory. It's more when they stand alone. Nonetheless, I agree that the phrase Halo tziviticha, haven't I charged you, does give it an extra bit of zest. Finally, the final time chazak ve'ematz is used in the Tanakh are the final words of the final verse of the chapter here in the Haftarah, when the leaders of the 2.5 tribes encourage Joshua, Rak chazak ve'ematz.
So the addition of the word rak, only, and the fact that you chant it with the sof haftarah trope underscore the importance of the phrase.
Exactly. And I think the one reason why the Masoretes use different tropes on chazak ve'ematz is to reach more people. People learn in different ways. So the variations in trope are an attempt to get the message across.
And speaking of differences, we've now talked about a lot about the use of the chazak ve'ematz, the trope, and the various contexts. But we haven't actually discussed its meaning.
Well, you gave one translation from Robert Alter, be strong and stalwart, but I think that the most common translation is be strong and courageous.
That's true. But I checked a variety of sources, as I usually do, and I came up with 10 other translations, including be strong and courageous, be strong and resolute, be courageous and brave, be courageous and bold.
Those are all pretty close.
I agree. But I have my own idea of what it means, at least in a modern context.
Why am I not surprised?
Because I wouldn't be me if I didn't buck the crowd at least a little bit. Why 2 words and not just one? Clearly, the first term, chazak, refers to capability, strength in the physical sense and also in the intellectual, spiritual sense, wisdom, judgment, sensitivity, and in Joshua's case, leadership. But strength is not enough. Joshua is also exhorted to ve'ematz, to be brave, courageous, stalwart, or bold. In other words, to persevere. A successful leader such as Joshua must have both strength and perseverance, as must us all. And I think that we have a modern word for this, grit, a combination of courage and resolve, strength of character.
So God is telling Joshua to have grit?
I think so.
I like that. How about if I use my strength to chant the Haftarah now?
Rick, you've also got grit. Before you chant, I just want to tell everyone that they can hear the rest of our discussion on the recorded Haftarah Plethora episode for Simchat Torah. The link is on the email bulletin. That episode and all other 98 episodes can be found on the TBA YouTube page.
And Rick and Larry, we want to thank you for elevating the status of the Haftarah every week for these years, for all the effort you put in, for all that you've taught us about Ezekiel and Jeremiah and Isaiah and other prophets, and also for helping us understand what the word plethora means. It means a lot.
It means a lot to us, too, however it's pronounced. Rick, time to chant.
Yes, so the Siddur, the page in the Siddur is 328 in the festival section. Different ending for the last paragraph. The Haftarah is in the Chumash 1267. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nviim tovim, v'ratzav v'divreihem הנאמרים באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בתורה ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. ויהי אחרי מות משה עבד אדוני, ויאמר אדוני אל יהושע בן נון משרת משה לאמור, משה עבדי מת, ואתה קום עבור את הירדן הזה, אתה כל העם הזה אל הארץ אשר אנוכי נותן להם לבני ישראל, כל מקום אשר תירוך כף רגליכם, בו לכם נתתיו, כאשר דיברתי אל משה מהמדבר, והלבנון הזה, והנהר הגדול נהר פרת, כל ארץ החיתים, והים הגדול בבוא השמש, יהיה גבולכם. לא יתייצב איש לפניך כל ימי חייך, כאשר היית עם משה אהיה עמך, לא ארפך ולא אעזבך, חזק ואמץ, כי אתה תנחיל את העם הזה, את הארץ אשר נשבעתי לאבותם לתת להם. רק חזק ואמץ מאוד, לשמור לעשות ככל התורה אשר ציווך משה עבדי, אל תסור ממנו ימין ושמאל, למען תשכיל בכל אשר תלך. לא ימוש ספר התורה הזה מפיך, והגית בו יומם ולילה, למען תשמור לעשות ככל הכתוב בו, כי אז תצליח את דרכיך ואז תשכיל. הלא ציוויתיך חזק ואמץ, אל תרוץ ואל תחת, כי עמך אדוני אלוהיך בכל אשר תלך. ויצב יהושע את שוטרי העם לאמור, עברו בקרב המחנה, וצוו את העם לאמור, הכינו לכם צידה, כי בעוד 3 ימים אתם עוברים את הירדן הזה, לבוא לרשת את הארץ אשר אדוני אלוהיכם נותן לכם לרשתה, ולראובני ולגדי ולחצי שבט המנשה אמר יהושע לאמור, זכור את הדבר אשר ציווה אתכם משה עבד אדוני לאמור, אדוני אלוהיכם מניח לכם ונתן לכם את הארץ הזאת. נשיכם טפכם ומקניכם ישבו בארץ אשר נתן לכם משה בעבר הירדן, ואתם תעברו חמושים לפני אחיכם, כל גיבורי החיל, ועזרתם אותם, עד אשר יניח אדוני לאחיכם, ככם וירשו גם המה את הארץ אשר אדוני אלוהיכם נותן להם ושבתם לארץ ירושלכם, וירשתם אותך, אשר נתן לכם משה עבר אדוני בעבר הירדן מזרח השמש. ויענו את יהושע לאמור, כל אשר ציוויתנו נעשה, וכל אשר תשלחנו נלך, ככל אשר שמענו אל משה, כן נשמע אליך, רק יהיה אדוני אלוהיך עמך, כאשר היה עם משה. כל איש אשר ימרה את פיך, ולא ישמע את דבריך, לכל אשר תצוונו יומת, רק חזק ואמץ